Hey, what's up everyone? It's Assad here. Welcome back to the 52 Cards channel. In this video, I'll show you a really interesting move that allows you to take two cards and make them appear as if they are any number of cards that you really want. I'll let you be creative and come up with some of your own uses for this thing. But for now, let's go behind the card table. I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'll teach you how to do it. All right, so check this out. We have two cards here. It really is just two cards. But using this move, we can make it look like 1, 2, 3 cards, or 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You get the point. So really cool move here. Lots of interesting applications for it. Let's go behind the table here and I'll show you how to do it. This video is brought to you by Mint Playing Cards. This is a brand of cards that started a few years ago with magicians specifically in mind. They feature a super classy, timeless design, the backs have an intuitive marking system built into them, and the cards are printed on a premium Q1 crushed cardstock and then coated with an air cushion finish for optimal handling. Each deck is packaged in a beautiful tuck case that is sure to look great in your card collection. If you want to learn more about the Mint Playing Cards, you can check them out at mint52.com. All right, let's unpack this thing. So we're going to start off by just paying attention to the grip that's being used. I'm right-handed, so therefore I'm going to be holding the two-card packet in my right hand like so. Pay attention here to the finger positions. I have my thumb resting on top, kind of pinching the bottom right edge. And then I have my first and middle finger on the bottom, and I have my middle finger right here. It's really the kind of the side of my middle finger contacting the back edge like so. And you'll see why that's important in a second. But this is the position. Okay, now what's going to happen here is I'm going to approach the packet with my left hand. Most of the work in this move happens with the left hand. The right hand should remain as still as possible. That makes it a stronger illusion. There is going to be a little bit of motion with your right hand fingertips. We'll talk about that in a second, but most of the work is indeed happening with your left hand. So I'm going to approach to count the first card. The first count is completely normal. It's just exactly what you would think it is. I'm coming over, but I am swiping it and counting it in a very specific way. I'm approaching the two-card packet. Notice how my first finger is going to curl around the front edge. My left thumb is going to extend across the top, and then it's with the pad of my left thumb that I'm applying a little bit of pressure down and then to the left to swipe that card. Okay, like so. I'm going to continue to swipe that card until these two edges clear one another, and it's going to create a nice sound effect as well. Okay, this isn't just a visual illusion, but that auditory count also reinforces the illusion. And notice how once I finish the count, I'm ending in pretty much a standard left hand mechanics grip like so. Also notice how when I do the count, my left wrist is turning a little bit. Okay, I'm doing this. And now comes the actual move. I'm going to come over and count the next card. But here's what's really happening. When I approach the right hand card again, I'm turning my wrist back over, and I'll go into a lot of finer detail in a second, but here's what's essentially happening. I'm taking the left hand card and I'm stealing it back underneath the right hand card. I'm aligning the two cards perfectly, and then immediately I'm swiping the next card while holding on to that original first card. And I'm doing that over and over again. I'm grabbing on to the left-hand card with my right-hand fingertips as I count the next card. Now, if you do it slowly, if you do it with bad rhythm, if you have hesitation or breaks, it doesn't look good at all. But if you remove any hesitation and you do it smoothly and with a good rhythm, it's just a really strong illusion. And it just makes it look like you're counting the next card in the packet. Okay, now obviously, you don't want to do it with too many cards because they might notice that the thickness of the packet isn't all that thick. Usually this is done with for counting 4, 5, 6 cards, something like that, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. Any more than that is a little bit overkill. I did it in the demo just to show that it's possible, but this is a sleight of hand move for a lot of packet tricks that aren't going to be dealing with too many cards. But for that range of cards, it's really just a great false count, and there are a lot of really interesting things that you can do with it. Let's dive a little bit deeper now. I'll go into some finer tips on how to perfectly align the 2 cards and then swipe off the next card while stealing the card underneath the one that was already there. All right, so let's go into some finer details now. So you're going to swipe off the first card. We're going to be in this position. Okay, as you come over to peel off the next card, remember you're twisting your wrist back over, and here's what's happening. With my right hand fingertips, my first and middle finger of my right hand, they're kind of opening up just a little bit, allowing you to feed the left hand card underneath, or I should say above those fingers and underneath the card that's already in your hand. Okay, so you're going to be here, and this is done in the process of turning your wrist back over, opening up the fingers. And now, once you're in this position, you need to perfectly align these 2 cards so that they're squared with one another. And this is the reason why I have my first finger curled around the front edge, and it's the reason why I have my right ring finger along the back edge, because they're going to serve as kind of breaks. So here's what's happening. I'm coming over, and then once I'm in this position, I'm going to be bringing the cards, I'm going to be pulling the cards towards myself until my first finger contacts the right hand card, and until the back edge of the card in my left hand contacts my ring finger. And I'm also pushing to the right with my left hand to ensure that the left edge of these cards are also aligned. I'm going to continue to move in this direction until that edge hits basically the base of my left hand. Okay, so those are your 3, I guess what you call it, squaring points. The front edge, the left edge, and the back edge. Okay, once you're contacting both cards at each of those edges, or once you can feel both of those cards at each of those critical points, the first finger up here, the base of your hand here, and then your ring finger here, you know that you're squared. Okay, so basically you can just, once you count, you come over and you're just going to make sure you're going to push the cards together until you have those 3 contact points. And that point, you know that you're going to be perfectly aligned. Okay, but it's going to take some practice to be able to do that as quickly and as seamlessly as you need to, because if you hesitate, again, it's going to create a bad illusion. If you do a count and then it takes time, so let me give you an example. I'm going to do it with my opposite hand. So this is holding the cards in my left hand. I'm going to be swiping with my right hand. I haven't practiced this because this isn't the way I normally do it, but it'll give you an idea of what it might look like when you first begin doing this. So I swipe the first card, and then see how I'm kind of struggling a little bit to get that alignment. That should be expected. And this is not a good illusion. This looks weird. But with practice, if you put in enough repetitions, that's going to turn into this, where you're able to immediately square those 2 cards and then immediately steal the card and count the next one. Okay. Let me give you just a few more tips here that will hopefully help you out. Another thing to mention when it comes to finger positions is that after I've swiped the first card and I'm coming over to load it underneath the remaining card, remember I'm opening up these 2 fingers to allow that card to go underneath. But another thing I often do is I'll lower my left middle finger and pinky so that it doesn't contact anything else, so that it just creates some space and allows it to go underneath my first 2 fingers of my right hand. Okay, so if I were to keep those 2 fingers along the side of the card as I normally would in mechanics grip, that would cause problems. I need to open those fingers up. Okay, so you're going to be in a position like this. Let me try to get a good angle for you. When you're doing the steal, really all 3 of my fingers, my middle finger, pinky, and ring finger, are kind of extended like so. So I'm holding the remaining card like this. Okay, that first finger obviously is really important along the front edge, and this position allows me to cleanly insert it below the remaining right hand card and do the steal. Okay. Next thing to talk about is rhythm, which is a really important thing when it comes to all false counting techniques. You don't want to do it too fast. You don't want to do it too slow. I would say a good rhythm is something like one. Oops, that was a bad example. Let's try that again. One. The next thing to talk about is rhythm, which is a really important factor when it comes to all false counting techniques. You don't want to do it too fast. You don't want to do it too slow. I would say a good rhythm is something like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty solid right there. You can vary it a little bit depending on your style and whatnot, and depending on the number of cards that are being used, but something like that is pretty good. All right, I hope you enjoyed learning that. If you did, please do hit the like button down below. That really helps the channel out. Hit that bell button and subscribe if you want to be notified about future videos. And if you want to learn even more magic, you can check out the free library over at 52cards.com, link down below. Until next time, hope you have a nice day and take care.